I've been playing Need for Speed Heat for a bit over 5 hours now, and it's been a mostly good time. Heat came out in October of 2019, and I recently picked it up as a monthly free game for PS Plus. I'm not the biggest fan of racing games, but I've wanted to get into one that really invokes the same feelings I experienced playing arcade races as a kid. See, I grew up going to arcades since my library of games was lacking at the time. So I've spent some time racing through neon cities at high speeds under a night sky, while fast-paced EDM or dubstep played in the background. Eventually I got a PlayStation 3, and my favorite racing game of all time, Split Second. If you don't know what Split Second is, I highly suggest watching a video or two on it. Anyways, my first experience with Need for Speed was playing Most Wanted at a friend's house and enjoying the police chases. So coming into Heat, I was expecting arcade races in a neon city with the added chaos of chases during the race. I, however, only got some of that. First things first, the game overall is good. Anyone who is big into racing games will enjoy it, and anyone who wants to try racing games will also enjoy it. There are some flaws and more personal issues that hold the game back for me, but let me start with the pros. The game looks and sounds great. The Miami-inspired Palm City is a beautiful locale, with a nice diversity of sprawling metropolis and rural hills to race through. The sound effects of your car really gives you the sense of power and speed as you drift around tight corners and zoom off ahead of the pack. The controls are also nicely streamlined to be as simple as possible, while also having a high skill ceiling. There are a few different ways to drift that all have their uses, and there's a quick access menu that you can easily pull up and navigate, even during a race. Moving to the main focus of the game, the cars and races themselves. There's a great variety of both. The amount of vehicles for you to drive will feel overwhelming at first, but all are locked behind progression, so you have a clear path to follow and will slowly gain access to more and better vehicles. Now, many car fans will enjoy getting to the Ferraris and Lamborghinis at the end of the progression line. However, I like to use older models of cars, and the weaker ones, just because I like how they look, and it's a bit slower and easier to understand when racing through the city. And the races are just as varied as the cars, and there are easily over 100 races spread across the entire open world that unlock as you progress, gaining in difficulty. Sadly, now it's time to talk about what I dislike in this game. The customization and vehicle upgrade system is ridiculously confusing. There are so many different sections to upgrade your car that those of us who don't know much about cars feel overwhelmed. And with how many possible upgrades there are for each section, it's all too much for me. Even if I look at the raw stats to see what's numerically better, there are so many stats that change depending on so many different factors with your car and other upgrades that I just have trouble figuring out what I am really even doing. Aside from the main gimmick of this game, the main gimmick of this game is that you have standard day races, which reward you with money, and then night races that reward XP, but raise your wanted level, making each consecutive night race more likely to have you chased by stronger cops. On the surface, this is really cool. The problems arise when you are only on your second race in a night, and a chase has started during the race, and instead of the cops going after everyone, you are the sole target and cop spawns, then drives off a bridge next to you, performing an Assassin's Creed aerial assassination on you, causing you to lose first place, then your vehicle to wreck and lose all the XP and money you've been getting. You might have noticed I haven't talked about the music or story yet, and that's because I don't really care about the story. I'm just here for the races. I'm sure it's fine, but probably not on the level of Witcher 3. As for the music, I hate it. The music is not for me. It's all rap and hip-hop, which if you like it, then there's no issue. But for me, there's no track that I enjoyed, and I resorted to just playing a Spotify playlist with Eurobeat songs, which in my opinion fits the game better. Overall, I enjoyed my time with Need for Speed Heat, but I have yet to find my replacement for Split Second.